Counter Attack Podcast with myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. It's going to be my first one since Christmas. I think it's going to be the last one of the year. It's been a good year, guys, man. Maybe not the best in terms of years that I've had, but because obviously we know the first half of the year I just was not consistent at all. But we're gonna get back to that in 2025. We're gonna correct that. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for listening to the pod. Thank you for all the feedback that you give me. And for 2025, guys, I'll just like you just in the comments, just to let me know what you think I need to improve on, what you think I need to do better. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love giving you guys the podcast, you know, if there is something I can improve on, just let me know. So put it in the comments and be as brutal as you want. I know I definitely have to be more consistent. I know sometimes that sound sometimes is off and whatever. So whatever it is, you just let me know. And I will get more and more players on, bringing them back, bringing the players back. And yeah. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Arsenal lost. Arsenal flipping lost, man. And it was a horrible defeat, man. And considering how Arsenal started today, considering how Arsenal started the match, I was expecting this to be like, a statement win. One where we just do the business and then crack on to the next game, New Year's Eve. But obviously they get their goal. And do you know what? The ball was over the line. Again, this happened to Arsenal. It was over the line. But what I'm not going to do is make it about the ball being over the line, because even if it should have been disallowed, Arsenal didn't show anything other than that. Had we pressed, had we battered them, had we played well, I would use that as an excuse, but there's no excuse. Arsenal just did not deserve anything. And you know me, normally I'm like, oh, it's just down to the just a one-off game. We dust ourselves off and we move. But nope, it is not that kind of game today. Today, I am going to be calling out players. Not to say we need to get rid of them or whatever, but when players aren't playing well, I think it's important that it's said, just like when players are playing well. What I will say is that Martinelli's having a tough time right now. I think with Martinelli, as much as he's a big goal threat, I don't know if it's a confidence thing right now, but it's just not clicking for him. Like nothing is working for him. And he's looking like a poor player, but he's not a poor player. And I know that sometimes form is just off. And when form's off, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, oh, get out of the club, I don't want to see you again. But it's okay to say you might need to hold the bench for a while. What doesn't help is the fact that his understudy, who would normally play ahead of him in Trossard, didn't have a great game neither. And in fact, that entire left side, man, was bad today, man. It was bad. Zinchenko's having a tough time right now. I'm not liking this narrative, though, when it comes to Zinchenko, that, we need to get rid of him, he's a bad player. Because when he's playing well, everyone forgets that he can't defend. Yes, we know he's got weaknesses, and those weaknesses are being exploited right now. But I'm not going to sit here and act like Zinchenko hasn't been a good player for Arsenal, because people are talking like he's totally rubbed out and he should just be gone. But I don't think that. I do think that for certain games, he shouldn't be playing. But it doesn't help as well, because if Tomiyasu was available, he probably would have played. Timber obviously was available, he probably would have played. But it was just a bad game, man. It was just a really bad game. I think West Ham played the game. It was a perfect game for West Ham in the fact that they got their goal. After that, they put up two banks of whatever number it is, 2 banks of 4, and one bank of 5 and then 4, whatever it is, and they were just not coming out of that shape. And Arsenal just didn't have anything. I don't even want to say the players looked tired neither. I just think that the players just looked, they were a bit too rigid. Do you get what I'm saying? Saka tried. Odegaard, to be fair, Odegaard was the only player today I would look at and be like, no, you had a really good game, because it wasn't always coming off for him, but he was always trying to make something work. I mean, trying to make something happen. So when I watch that game and I look at Odegaard, I think, like I said, he's the only one that was trying to make anything happen. And even if it doesn't come off, and it's not always going to come off, at least you're trying. He wasn't helped by the fact that the players just lacked any sort of urgency. I don't know what kind of Christmas dinner these lot had, but there was just no urgency. There was no willingness to break lines. There was no willingness to just make something out of nothing. And I think that team for the game against Fulham needs to be shuffled. It needs to be shuffled because it just wasn't good enough. And, I think we definitely need a striker now. It's becoming more and more apparent. And that's not to say that Jesus shouldn't be playing, because I still think even with a new striker, Jesus should start for us. But that player who's just in the box and is just a target man, it's just a problem in the box, we definitely need it. And until that happens, if it doesn't happen in January, then I don't think Arsenal will win the league. But I hope it happens. But then you go and say who's available. Ivan Toney is the one everyone's talking about, but is Ivan Toney really the answer? You're not getting no world-class striker in January. That's not happening. But outside of the obvious Osimhen, but if that was to happen, that wouldn't happen until summer. Outside of Toney, what strikers are currently available? What midfielders are currently available? But bad day at the office. And Arsenal have it not all to do, because it's a long season, and it could all just change on New Year's. By New Year's it could all just change anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? But we can't afford to be putting in performances like that at home as well. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. And credit to West Ham. West Ham are doing well, and it always surprises me because I've got a few West Ham friends, like friends who support West Ham. I've got a few of them, and it always surprises me when I see things pop up, like David Moyes should be gone. Things like that surprise me. Like there's been a few times where they're not happy with the style of play. They're not happy with how the team's performing at times, and a lot of them don't really like David Moyes. And when I see that, I just always think, but why? Look at them. They're into the top 6 right now. They've got their first European trophy last year. They're performing well. They've got players who are actually good players. We talk about Kudus. There was a moment where Kudus was running and he turned Declan Rice inside and out and then released it. Like, mate, I think, it led to the corner which they scored from. But anyway, Kudus is a good player. You got Paqueta, you got Alvarez, good player. Ward-Prowse, like there's solid players in that team, and I think Jared Bowen, can't forget. I think if they were to go out and get a proper striker, they could be they could be in business, man. So fair play to them. I can't say anything other than that. I won't say anything other than that. But you guys let me know what you thought of the performance. I just thought it was really bad, a really lackluster performance from Arsenal, and credit to West Ham. On to Tottenham. Tottenham got battered today. They lost 4-2, but those 2 goals obviously came in the final 10 minutes. And for a moment, I was thinking, are they going to come back? Because I watched the first half, and then I watched about the last 15 minutes of the game, because obviously I was watching the Arsenal game. And it started off well. It started off really, really well, but Tottenham play that open style football with a high line. And I keep saying this with Tottenham. Any team that is brave enough to actually go toe-to-toe with them will always create chances and always score. So Tottenham will have games like that where they come out the blocks really, really early. But Brighton were not. Even before Brighton scored their first goal, they had 2 chances. Both with Welbeck actually, where the keeper had to make good saves. By the way, Vicario is a really good keeper. And I've said it before in this pod, but he's a really, really good keeper, and he has surprised me. And no matter how many times he has questions to answer, he always answers them correctly. So, credit where credit's due when it comes to Vicario. But yeah, Brighton were good, man. And what's funny or what's good about Brighton is that there's never ever really a standout player on their team because they all play their part in a well-oiled machine when it clicks. So I look at today, Yao Pedro was a problem. Welbeck was Milner had a good game. Do you get what I'm saying? And they look like the Brighton that we became accustomed to last season. Do you know what I mean? Where everyone's interchanging with the short passes and it's quick and it's sharp and, just creating so many different openings and getting chances off. And yeah, I think, I know Tottenham got their injuries and maybe suspensions, but you can't play football like that all the time. And sooner or later, what's going to happen is that teams are going to clock onto the fact that, you know what, you've got high line, you know what, you've got players, but we've also got players, and we're gonna do what you try to do to us, which is what Brighton did today, and Brighton came out on top. So let me look at the table very quickly, because you cannot keep playing football like that. 1 second. So every time I go into my phone and I'll go into something else. Premier League table. Let's see this. Let's see. Okay, so Arsenal only 2 points behind. That's not too bad anyway. 2 points behind Liverpool. Tottenham are now, what's that? 6 points behind. Oh, it's not too bad actually. City. Okay. Yeah, so it's still pretty tight up there, man. Arsenal have now lost 3 times in the league. So have City. Wow. So have City, boy. Wow, Liverpool only lost once in the league this season. So yeah, it's going to be close, man. Guys, let me know what you think of the Tottenham game. Yeah, I remember I said something about they're just like Bielsa. There's something. Oh yeah, that's what it was. I said there's something very Marcelo Bielsa-ish about Tottenham. Leeds under. Okay, no, sorry, that's it. Tottenham under Postecoglou it reminds me of Bielsa, of Leeds under Bielsa, because all that attractive football, all that good interchanging, fast pace, fast tempo, but they leak goals, but they'll always have exciting matches. And today was an exciting match. Yeah, but what's the point of having such an exciting match if the outcome is a loss in a lot of games that you shouldn't really be losing? And I just think sometimes you just need to switch it up a bit. Sometimes you need to become, not so open, and just for 10, 15 minutes in games, just sit in and just become more compact. But, Postecoglou has his way, and I think a season of this, if I'm being totally honest, a season of this where, because right now the novelty is still there with Postecoglou and the way he plays football, but after a season of this and, losing games and whatever, if it was to happen, obviously, I can see it going really, really bad for him. But it's all good right now because he's everyone's favourite. And this ain't even speaking to him as a manager, because I actually like him. But sometimes just switch it up. That's all I'm saying. Manchester United. Who did they play? Villa. Oh my gosh. You know what? When it comes to Manchester United, I just have to give them credit, because they came from 2-0 down to win 3-2. And the thing is, Man United aren't going to lose every game. As bad as they are, they're not going to lose every game. So every now and then they have to win. But I didn't see a win against Villa coming, especially when they were 2-0 down. I feel like that result has kept Ten Hag in a job, because before that goal, before the comeback, when that second goal for Villa went in, it just had that feeling of, when it's a manager's last game, it had that feeling of, all doom and gloom, and, someone's P45 is coming in the next day. It had that feeling. But credit to them, they turned it around. And in that second half, I think that's the best Manchester United I've seen in a long time. There were patterns of play happening. Players were on form. Rashford was doing well. Garnacho was a man on a mission, and you just have to just give them credit. I'm not gonna sit here and act like this is them turning the corner, because I do feel like the same old United will show themselves in the next game again. But Aston Villa helped them massively because they just didn't play anything. And I saw someone tweeting about Unai. I've forgotten who it was. So someone said, Unai Emery, unless he's managed your club, you won't understand the problems with Unai Emery. And I hear it. I totally hear it, because there are times where you need to do better in regards to the management of a team. There are times when the way that you play isn't always gonna. And for Villa, look, they're doing well. They're doing well, but you know, in terms of what's needed to get over, over the line, I don't think Villa have it. And there's just something about the way that they play, and I recognize it from when Unai was Arsenal boss, where you can see what he's trying to do, but ultimately it's just not good enough. But like I said, credit to Man United. I do think next game they'll probably lose now. We have to talk. Listen, it's been a while. It's been an absolute while since I spoke about Bruno Fernandes, because I said at the beginning of the season, I said I'm not going to talk about Bruno Fernandes no more, because I still remember when he was banging in all those goals, and I said one day the goals are going to dry up and we're going to be left with the performances, and I just know they're not going to be good enough. But you see, Bruno, for a player with so much talent, and he's got talent, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a rubbish player, because he's not, but you don't see that enough. I think he gets too involved in the whining and the theatrics rather than actually doing his job on the pitch. Too many times he wants to be screaming at players and showing that he's got some sort of passion, and he doesn't do enough on the pitch. He doesn't let his feet do the talking. So I'm not having him one bit. I said I wasn't going to talk about Bruno again, but I'm not having him. And if someone could tell me what is the best thing about his game and what he's currently bringing to United, but to be honest, I've always felt like this with Bruno. He'll have moments in games here and there, but generally speaking, does he warrant a place in the team? I don't know. But I'll leave that one there. Chelsea won. Just about. Chelsea are just a mixed bag, man. I'm not. Anyway, they won. Let me just do that, and credit to Gusto. He had a very, very good game. They've got some good players, man, but they need some good experienced heads, players that have been there, done that, because they don't have enough. And I think once they do that, once they buy players who just have know-how, who have that winning mentality, then I think they'll be okay. But right now, the squad is way too inexperienced to be challenging for anything in the Premier League. They're way too young, and there's just too many. There's just too many bodies in that team. And I think when you've got too many players and too many choices, like there's only so much you can do with them. Like every other day, Chelsea bring on a player I've never even heard of. The other week, it was just the first time the other week I saw that, is it Uga Chukwu? I saw him. I saw another player come on yesterday that I've never heard of. Is it Gilchrist? Or am I making that up? Do you know what I mean? I remember when Badiashile came, I didn't know. Decisive. Like, they've got so many players, and that's not even to mention the one that I injured. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. City won. City are world champions. This will be my last one before the end of the year, but we're going to kick off 2025 with a bang. Don't worry. Let me know what you think about everything I've said in the comments, guys. Peace.